friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, and I am so excited that you decided to take time out of your day to spend with me because today we are doing what will probably be my last reading vlog of February. And so I just wanted to end this month with some mood reads. There were just some books that I wanted to pick up that didn't exactly fit into, a certain vibe. So yeah. And after the first two vlogs that I put out in February being kind of themed, and in with me not having control over my last vlog with Lex picks, I can't even talk, with Lex picking my books, I just kind of wanted to do my own thing and just kind of let my mood take me wherever I wanted to go to wrap up this Black History Month and me reading nothing but Black authors for February. It's been fun. It's been a time. I will definitely have to do this again sometime out of February because even though I do read, Black books all throughout the year, I do a mixture of reading. So yeah, this will definitely be something that I will attempt to do again in the future because I had fun with it. So let us hop into this vlog and see what we get up to. Alrighty, so I am about 50% into Between Friends and Lovers, and y'all, I am eating this up. I was a little skeptical of this book just because I don't know, the synopsis gave me weird vibes a little bit, not in a bad way, but just like I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it. And yeah, I have read from this author before. I read On Rotation, and while I liked it, I didn't exactly love it. I did enjoy the writing. I think it was just, in particular, that story wasn't one that really stuck and resonated with me, but I still really enjoy the book and I do recommend it. But this one right here, I can already tell that I like so much more. So much more. This is at minimum going to be a 4-star read for me. And depending on how this third act breakup goes, that'll kind of be the decision maker for me, because I feel like there's a couple of ways that we can go with this, and I really don't want us to go the way that I think we're gonna go. Let me tell you a little bit about the book first before since I have done all of that and didn't even tell you what this is about. So in this book, we're following Jo. And Jo recently finished up med school, and instead of going straight into, she just finished up residency, and instead of jumping right into, continuing on in her medical career, she kind of decided to take a break. She is also an influencer, and on her social media channels, she gives advice to people, medical advice, sexual health advice, all the things. And she isn't really feeling fulfilled in that, but she's also worried about herself and wasn't really feeling fulfilled being a doctor, so she doesn't really know what to do with herself. But when we first open the book, she is going to her best friend Ezra's party. I think it's his birthday party, and Ezra decides that his date to this party is going to be a girl that bullied Jo for years. And so Jo is really hurt by this, on top of another layer being that she has these feelings for Ezra and wants to be more than friends with him, but just hasn't said anything. And so Ezra Ezra I think that's a little spoiler. So what happens is that they end up having a conversation at this party, and Jo alludes to Ezra that she does have feelings outside of the friendship for him, but he doesn't exactly return those feelings. And so Jo is, upset and embarrassed and all the things, and she runs into Mal. Is that his name? If it's not, I'm going to correct it on the screen, but I think that his name is Mal. Yeah. So Mal is this writer. He's an author, and his book has just kind of blown up and gone viral recently. And he was invited to this party because Ezra's mom is I think they own like some kind of studio or something, or they're making movies, and she wants Ezra's book to make an adaptation, and so she's invited him to kind of butter him up or whatever. So Mal and Joe meet, and they just kind of have this instant connection where they just feel comfortable with each other, and they I think that's spoiler. I just want to talk about this book, and I'm just gonna spoil everything. Um, so yeah, they have this instant connection, and they, become friends and start dating. And Joe is very upfront with Mal about her feelings for Ezra and their situation, and Mal is kind of still recovering from this really traumatic, toxic relationship that he's been in. But they're both very forthcoming with their situations and very honest about it. So I'm really into that part. And Joe is not hiding the fact that she does have these feelings for Ezra, and Mal is not blind to that either. And he's also like, look, if we're gonna do this, it's not gonna be out of spite because you're upset with Ezra. Like, we're gonna do this for real. And he, is checking these feelings and things, even though he still feels like it's going to end in heartbreak for him. He is being very honest and open with his feelings with Joe, and I am just eating them up. Like, I love Joe and Mal as a couple, and I like them. I like them. Really feeling their chemistry and their relationship. And so I'm just hoping that Joe does not leave Mal for Ezra. That's gonna piss me off a little bit. It's gonna piss me off. I'm really hoping that that is not what happens, because like I said, I am shipping Mal and Joe so hard. I feel like they are helping each other professionally, they're helping each other emotionally, all the things. This is like a really good, healthy relationship, and I just want Joe to fully let go of Ezra so she can be with Mal. But not only that, Joe has some things that have happened to her growing up that kind of, make her hesitant when it comes to love. And Mal is like, okay, yeah, I understand that, but like, give me a chance. Like, don't judge me off of other people's mistakes or other things that you've heard, because that's not me. I'm not those people. I'm my own person. So like, just judge me by my own merit. And I'm like, yes, Mal, yes. And I just love him so much. I am having the best time with this book, and I'm shocked. I'm shook. I'm shaken, because like I said, I thought I would like this at best, but mm, mm-hmm, it's doing it for me, and I'm very excited to continue. And hopefully, I come back with good news, because this is gonna hurt me if the second half doesn't hit like the first half. I'm gonna be upset. And I don't want to be upset. I want to come back and tell you that I love this book. So, fingers crossed. I'll be back in a second and let you know what I thought. Y'all, let us talk about Between Friends and Lovers, because I finished it. Was it last night? Something like that. But I fear that I spoke too soon. I did. Okay, so I was about halfway done when I, made that first clip updating y'all, but shortly after that, I started to get irritated. And I started to get irritated because Joe had so much to say about Ezra. And that is the one topic that I did not want to hear anything about. Like, we could have heard a little bit, but I don't care anything about Ezra's backstory. I don't care about none of that, because Ezra has been treating you like he's number two, because that's how you've been letting him treat you. And then you have Malcolm over here, who, since y'all met, has had you in a number one spot, and you are questioning whether you are going to be with Malcolm because you have history with Ezra. You don't even have good history with Ezra. You just have history with him. Girl, get out my face. Get out my face. Because there is no choice here. There is no choice. And even when we get to the conflict of the book, Ezra does not stand up for Joe. Apparently, they did everything that they could, but these people are millionaires, billionaires, like all in Hollywood, like have major pool, and the daddy is always in a scandal, and they make that go away. But when something affects Joe because of Ezra, y'all not gonna do nothing to try to fix it? Wrong answer. Wrong answer. The only reason why Ezra even does anything is because of Malcolm, and Malcolm being like, "What y'all doing?" He had to step to them and be like, "Okay, so why y'all ain't doing nothing? Y'all just gonna let her drown in this? Really?" So yeah, that irritated me and pissed me off that we had to learn so much about Ezra in this book when we have Malcolm sitting right here. He's right here, you know? So that irritated me about Joe. And I did not like that. I, you know, I didn't like how she she acted like she knew Malcolm was waiting for her, and she didn't consider him in the same ways that he considered her, and that irritated me because, you know, I don't think this is a spoiler situation, but whatever. Joe changes her phone number, and does she tell Malcolm? No. Malcolm is trying to get in touch with her for days with an S, DMing her on social media. You got that DM because you still have social media on you, and you still didn't respond to him. I ain't liked it. I didn't like that at all, especially after what had happened. Don't make me root for the man. Don't make me think the man deserves more, please. I hate to when books do that to me. Like Joe, and here's the thing. I completely understand why Joe acts the way she does and has the opinions that she does when it comes to love. She is very much valid in that and working through that. Like I see her. She's putting an effort to work towards that. But to me that had nothing to do with why she was treating Malcolm the way she was, and even entertaining the idea of Ezra when he was somebody who, when people would insinuate that Joe and Ezra were dating because they were always together, he would have to go and find a model to have sex with to combat those, or make it so obviously and clear to a point where it's rude that they're just friends and they're not dating. Wrong answer. Wrong. But I really did love Malcolm and Joe when they were together. I thought they were really good for each other. And so, because of that, I ended up rating this a 3.5 stars. And it didn't have anything to do with the writing. I think that I will continue to pick up Shirlene's books because I do enjoy her style of writing. I think it was just the nuances of the story for me, of this particular story, and some things I just couldn't get behind. That is my thoughts on Between Friends and Lovers. I am happy that I decided to pick it up and see what people were talking about, and I gave into the hype on this one, and I kind of knew going in it was, you know, eh, it could go either way, and it went midway. And I'm happy about that because I could have hated it and I didn't hate it, and I did actually root for the couple. It's just all that outside stuff that we didn't need all that. So yeah, let's move on to the next book and see what I decide to pick up next. Okay, friends, so I am about 63% into Frenemies with Benefits, and I am ready to talk about it. So in this, we're following Tracy, and this book is a part of the Peachtree Cove series, and Peachtree Cove is a small town in Georgia. Okay, so Tracy owns a bed and breakfast in Peachtree Cove, and she is a reluctant member of a scandal. And that scandal is that got her husband was cheating on her, and she why am I having a hard time explaining this? Her husband was cheating on her with her business partner, the person helping her run her bed and breakfast. And not only that, but he got her pregnant. And so, yeah, she's going through a divorce right now. Everybody is talking about this scandal. And Tracy is over it. Tracy has been an unwilling part of scandals her whole life, growing up in Peachtree Cove. Her parents had a very tumultuous relationship. Father was her father is an alcoholic, and her mother was very much out there and cheating on him. And yeah, they did not have a good relationship. And Tracy has also been known to be this very outspoken person. And so growing up, she got in trouble a lot for speaking her mind and fighting and, just being a very rambunctious person. So when she met her ex-husband, Bernard, she tried to calm down and like be a person that didn't or wasn't involved in any scandals, and nobody really had anything to say about her. And so when Bernard did this, it just kind of really threw her for a loop, and her business partner as well. So she's just kind of in a funk and struggling a little bit, not really being able to focus on growing her business. And her business is actually booming right now because Peachtree Cove has just been named like best small town or something like that. And so people are flocking to the area, and her bed and breakfast is, the place that they're coming to stay. So she's trying to handle all of this, and it is taking a lot of her out of her. And so she also does weddings at this bed and breakfast, and she works with a guy in town named Brian, who is her florist. Brian owns a nursery in town. They grew up together. Tracy feels that Brian has always been around during her like most embarrassing moments in life, and she just feels like he definitely judges her, and well, that's what she thinks anyway. And they are kind of frenemies because of that, but not really frenemies, but kind of sort of. If you stretch it just to fit with the title, they're frenemies. And so Brian actually is very much attracted to Tracy, has been since they were kids, has had this major crush on her. And so what she thinks is just him happening to be around. It's just like him wanting to be around her, him wanting to help her, him, wanting to be around her because he likes her. Tracy decides that she is done caring what people think about her, and because they're going to talk regardless. She has done nothing to deserve this, but yet people are still talking about her and all in her business. So she's like, you know what, I'm gonna actually give y'all something to talk about. So she decides that she wants to have this one night stand or this hookup situation. And so she's like, look, I'm 29, I want to experience life, this is my second chance. And of course, who is there to help her in this endeavor other than Brian? And that's kind of where I am right now in this book. What I will say is that because of the title of this book, I definitely expected more frenemies energy. I feel like what we're getting is like banter. You know how those people that like, just talk shit with each other and like joke, like it's not even serious talking shit. So that's why I think right now the frenemies is a stretch. It's a stretch, okay? But I mean, besides it being the title, I don't think it really hurts anything with the story. I do already know that I like the author's writing because I've read from her in this Peachtree Cove series before. I don't exactly have feelings toward this book right now. I don't feel negative feelings, but I'm not feeling like overly positive feelings either. Like I'm not like, oh my gosh, I love this, I'm eating it. Like it's not that. It's just like, yeah, this is pretty good. This is we're getting along, I like Tracy and Brian as main characters. I would root for them as a couple because they have both been through really traumatic and toxic relationships, and so they know what not to do, but also how to be there in the way that each other needs. Because, it's hard to understand how to be there for somebody when you haven't been in a situation like that. And they actually had this conversation. Brian tells Tracy straight up, like, that situation is not good for you. You need to this. Why are you playing? Like, he is very much like telling her, you need to get your shit together because you don't want this, what happened with this awful man, to ruin your business and your future. Like, come on, get it together. Get it together. And I can see how she would find that annoying, but it's also really sweet because he really does like want the best for her, whether they're in a relationship or not. I don't really have any strong feelings either way about this book right now. So I just wanted to hop in and say that before I go ahead and finish it, because it'll probably be a binge to the finish. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I'll be back to let you know what I think when I finish. Okay, so let us talk about Frenemies with Benefits because I have finished it. My thoughts on this still did not change. I found myself kind of lacking a connection to this couple, even though I was like very much invested in their stories and who they were as characters and like wanting the best for them. And I was very much interested in the drama because it definitely picked up in the second half. I feel like everybody was circling back and trying to, run it back and circling the block, and it was just very messy, very dramatic. And I do think that our couple navigated these very sticky, icky situations the best they could, the best anybody could. Like, I definitely tip my hat off to them for not, you know, just being hot headed about the situation, but being very understanding and handling it like an adult. Like, handle business like an adult, okay? And so I really liked that. But I just, as much as I was rooting for them, I wanted more. And I don't know what I wanted more of, but I needed more. So because of that, I rated this a 3.5 star. I'm going to continue reading in the Peachtree Cove series and from this author because I feel like one of her stories is really gonna hit for me. Like, she has the potential, and I do like the writing, and I do like how she crafts these stories, and I don't know what it is, but once I find that thing that's missing for me, I feel like there is 4.5 5-star potential for this author. So I think it's just a matter of finding the right story that's gonna connect with me, you know? So really happy that I enjoyed this. What I will say is, and I find this happening in like a lot of these romances, is that, or just in books in general, like parents really just be pissing me off. Like, these parents just be out here doing any and everything and treating their kids any type of way and like just saying out of pocket stuff. Like, what gives y'all the right to be this out of pocket? I can't do it. I cannot do it. But yes, I really like this Peachtree Cove. I keep wanting to say Grove. Peachtree Cove family, and I want to definitely go back and read some more. I think this book has Frenemies with Benefits features the couple that I think is from the first book. I haven't actually read the synopsis of the first book, but I think that that couple is. I'm trying not to spoil it, and I'm struggling. But yeah, I think we see a good bit of the couple from the first book in Frenemies with Benefits. And so I do want to go back and read their story, but it's just I think it's a sports romance that it's a second chance, and I'm not doing second chances this year. Well, I'm being very selective with the second chance romances that I do pick up because I know just from last year that genre, well, that trope is not something that's going to be very successful for me. So I want to make sure that I'm being very selective with the ones that I do choose to pick up. So I don't think I'll be reading that one. But going forward, I will be picking up History Code books and novellas. So anyway, let us see what we get into next. Since we did two romances, I kind of think I want to go into a fantasy. I think maybe we'll see. Let's talk about how this is the second time that I am filming this clip because not only did I film it in slow motion, but my microphone also died halfway through and I didn't realize it. Fun times for Erin. But what was I saying? I was saying that I lied because I'm pretty sure in the previous clip I mentioned being burnt out on romance and then I was going to pick up a fantasy, and here we are. You saw that I picked up a romance book, but it's also 2 weeks later, so I can't judge myself off who I was 2 weeks ago, and you can't either, right? Right. So I decided to pick up the Princess Trap by Talia Hibbert. So we meet Cherry on her 30th birthday while she's at work, and she just knows that men are very much overpaid, underperforming, not really all that smart, and she uses that to her advantage. And she likes to play like she is not as smart as she actually is, and like has these men in her office wrapped around her pinky finger and basically will do whatever she wants them to do, which hats off to you. I'm a fan of that. But then a stranger comes into the office and all the women are freaking out because they're like, who is this man? He is fine. We don't know him. Like, what is happening? And Cherry was like, She makes it her business to go ahead and interrupt this meeting and figure out who this man is and gets his attention. And that she did, because immediately he was like, I'm taking you to lunch today, and after lunch we're gonna go out. Like, I just want to spend time with you, get to know you. Like, I am very much feeling you. Cute, right? But they end up in this very compromising position where some paparazzi catches them, but not, oh, wait. The paparazzi catches them in a compromising position. Put it that way, because, yeah. And so Ruben, the man who Cherry meets, decides that he wants to tell the paparazzi that Cherry is his fiance. And then it comes out that he is actually a prince, he's royalty, and it blows up on all of the media and things. And so he is summoned by the king, which is his half brother. Ruben proposes that they continue this fake engagement and that he is willing to pay Cherry for her time and all the things. And now this year contract, and after that, Cherry can leave him and move on with her life. And so Cherry is very much upset by this, and she feels very trapped by Ruben in this situation. But she also needs the money because her younger sister is sick, and so she agrees to do this. But along the way, as they get to know each other, of course, that chemistry, physical attraction is already there because that's what got them involved with each other in the first place. But the more they learn about each other, the more they feel things. And Cherry tries to fight it for a while, but eventually, things happen. This also features references instances of physical abuse, emotional abuse, child abuse, and so be very cognizant of that going in. Make sure you read the content and trigger warnings for this. I will say it is very brief and it did not bother me, but it could trigger you, so just be aware of that. Now, this was very angsty, very much like he falls first and harder, like a little kink exploration, but very on the light side of that. And I really enjoyed Cherry and Ruben's chemistry. I enjoyed their banter. I thought it was cute. And the way that their relationship kind of blossomed and how they knew what the other needed and could be there in that capacity for them. Really enjoyed all of that. I thought that the plot was both kind of non existent and doing a lot at one time at the same time. And I don't know how those two things can happen at the same time. But that is how I felt while reading this. And I also feel like, I don't know, it just didn't really hit as hard for me. And I am finding this out because I have read at this point 6 books by Talia Hibbert. I've read her Brown Sister series, and then I read The Roommate Risk, um, Mary Inkmas, and now The Princess Trap. And there are very different feelings for the Brown Sisters trilogy and the other stuff. I don't think I have given anything other than the Brown Sisters more than 4 stars. I gave The Roommate Risk 2.5. I think Mary Inkmas was either a 2 or a 2.5, and I'm going to be rating The Princess Trap 3 stars. And it's just something about the Brown Sisters where I feel like Talia Hibbert was really in her bag. She really gave us the characters, gave us the stories, made us feel for them, made us like really be invested in the stories. But I don't feel that same investment and that same attachment to any of the other characters in anything else that I've read by her. And it's very like frustrating but also disappointing, because if we just base it on the Brown Sisters series, like Talia Hibbert is one of my favorite romance authors, but then me trying her other stuff is not working for me, and I'm just like what the heck, Talia, what the heck? I don't really know what to do about it, because the Brown Sisters series are like some of my all-time favorite romances, and then like I can't even get a 4 star from anything else. I'm barely getting 3 stars from everything else. And I don't know if it's just because her writing progressed and I'm like, I started with the most recent and went backwards. And so now I'm looking at her earlier stuff, and, authors grow as they write. So maybe that's the case, but I don't know. I don't know. I just really wanted more from The Princess Trap. And I feel like we could have done more with this. Yeah, it was just a little disappointing in that aspect, because I'm really trying to find more Talia Hibbert that I love instead of just rereading the Brown Sisters over and over again. I think there are a couple more. I know that there's like the fake boyfriend fiasco or something like that that I keep looking at and thinking about trying, but that may be the last one that I try. As far as her backlist, I know that she is writing like a fantasy or something like that. Here for that. I will be sad for that. Ouch. But as far as her older stuff, I think the fake boyfriend fiasco will probably be the last one that I try, just because it's not working. So there's no point in keep doing something that's not working for me. So yeah, with that being said, that will be the last book for this video. I wanted to do more, but like I said, just stop. I ended up not reading at all for about 2 weeks, and not even filming. I didn't post videos for a week. And nothing was necessarily wrong. I just think I needed a break, and my body made sure I got that break. So there's that. But I think I will be back and good and ready to go for March. I'm ready to do some reading, and yes, so to recap what was in this video, we started off with Between Friends and Lovers, and I gave that a 3.5 star. We then read Frenemies with Benefits, and that was also a 3.5 star. And we ended the vlog with The Princess Trap being a 3 star. This was very much a mid romance reading vlog for me. And I feel like the more that I read romance, the more picky I am becoming because I consume a shit ton of romance. And even though I am like leaning towards things that I like I do like fake dating, I do like, the marriage of convenience, fake engagements type things. I like reading about readers and bookish people and stuff like that. So I am small towns, like I am picking up things in the realm of what I like, but it's just harder to find things that really hit and that I really do enjoy. And I know it's possible because in January, like I read The Love Lyric, and that's actually something that I didn't think I would like as much as I did, but I ate it up. And that was a 4.5 star. And then like reading Mickey Chambers Shakes It Up. And so I know that it's possible. I just maybe need to do a refresh of what's on my romance TBR and try some different things and see how that works for me. But anyway, I am rambling and this video has been long enough. So thank you for staying until the end of this video. Thank you for commenting, sharing, liking, subscribing, anything that you do to support me and my channel. I am very much grateful and very happy. I always have the hardest time ending videos, and I have no idea why. But anyway, I hope you have the best day that you possibly can. Please remember to take care of yourself, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.